I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Oh, yes.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. So you want to talk about the Venice lineup?
Yeah, that was announced this past Tuesday, and they rounded out the jury that's led by Alexander Payne this year. That includes Stefan Brise and Christian Mungiu and Mohamed Rasoloff and Fernando Torres and Zhao Tao and Mora Del Perro. Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting lineup. Of course, everybody focuses on the people that are left out. I think we've known for a while that Warner Brothers is trying to do damage control already ahead of the new P.T. Anderson, which was extremely expensive, and they're afraid they're going to lose money. So that is not premiering there. But a bunch of long films. I think even the festival director, what's his name, Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera.
Not Hanna-Barbera. He was basically saying, like, I don't know how the hell we're gonna make it work, all these running times, because there's really nothing under 2 hours.
Ugh.
That's in the competition. And
when people ask me why I don't go to Venice, add that to the list of reasons why I don't go to Venice.
Well, that's most European film festivals, although Berlin can get away with some shorter ones, it seems like. But we have some past Golden Lion winners in here, including Yorgos Lanthimos, who's back with Bugonia, which is a remake. What?
Bugonia. That's a good name.
It's a remake of the Korean film Save the Green Planet, which I watched years ago. Actually, just I interviewed the composer of that for a separate project. He had a sophomore album, Jerskin Fendrix, for Spin Magazine. And I brought that up, of course, but at the time that happened, of course, he couldn't talk about it. But I'm like, hey, wink, wink, I'll probably see you in Venice. Gianfranco Rosi, who won in 2013 the Golden Lion, he is back with a new documentary, Below the Clouds. God, there's somebody else that I'm forgetting that is a Venice winner. Anyway, Guillermo del Toro... His Frankenstein, apparently that's 2.5 hours, but I'm very excited for it. A new Ildiko Agnelli, the Benny Safdie one with The Rock, The Smashing Machine. A new Olivier Assayas, Catherine Bigelow, Jim Jarmusch, whose film was passed over by Cannes, which is nice to see him here. I was hoping for somebody like a Claire Denis to pop up, but no such luck. The sidebars, for some reason, there's a lot of notable items stuffed in out of competition in sidebar sections, which those are going to be the difficult ones to try to fit in. But Luca Guadagnino's new film with Julia Roberts, After the Hunt, a new Gus Van Sant film, Dead Man's Wire, the Julian Schnabel film, that seems like it's been taking forever to review. There's a 5-hour experimental film from Alexander Sakharov, which I'd love to see, but I probably, to be honest, won't have time. That Lucretia Martel documentary that's been 6 years in the making. There's a new Werner Herzog doc about elephants. Anyway, I'm excited.
Well, we're happy to see it. Mm-hmm. Moving on.
Although TIFF, you might go to TIFF.
I received accreditation, but I'm waiting to hear if I get money. If I don't get any money, I'm not
stipend.
Going. Yeah.
Well, that is where the new Sigourney Weaver movie is premiering, Dust Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. I would need some incentive to attend.
They gave you incentive last year.
I know. So if they give me some this year, I'll go. But
anyway, well, I'll have to wait for December for Dust Bunny, which I believe it's set to premiere December 12th. Although, who's the distributor? Anyway, and then, of course, the new Avatar trailer dropped this week, which, I'm excited for my girl.
The trailer looked great. Mm-hmm. It looks like the last, it looked like the last movie to me. So
well, there's ash people now.
There was one character who was obviously not in the last movie. Mm-hmm. Somebody that kind of looked reddish. And
yes.
Yeah. But it looks fantastic, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
I will look forward to a continuation of Sigourney Weaver's 14-year-old character. Yes.
Okay, I received a few messages about this topic. So Laverne Cox, did you read about her?
Oh, Laverne.
So she's been promoting her upcoming one-woman show, and she did an interview where she was going on about her ex, whose name is Kyle Draper, which sounds like some. I've never seen an episode of Mad Men, but for some reason that name reminds me of Mad Men.
Draper. Well, it reminds me of, what was it, The Ropers?
Oh, from Three's Company.
This is the dark side of The Ropers.
Anyway, she revealed in an interview that he is a MAGA Republican voter.
Cop.
And a New York NYPD cop. He's also 22 years younger than her.
Laverne.
So, they were together for 6 years. They broke up.
6 years.
And so, of course, everyone's like, WTF, you're an activist.
You know what? She's an activist on the front lines, changing one person's mind at a time.
I mean, I don't know this lady or this man. The main thing, do you know what he looks like?
No, I didn't look. I noticed that wig that she's telling these truths in, and
I just sent you a picture of him.
Maybe she should have rethought that wig, but
on this interview that the one I watched with that wig you're referring to, the thing that was most cringy to me is how she's talking about this man and the relationship. She sounded like a schoolgirl. Laverne Cox is in her 50s, like mid 50s, I believe. She's definitely in her 50s. So the thing that I found most uncomfortable is how she was talking about this man. But the way she was talking about him, I was expecting to see Chris Hemsworth.
Well,
but he's like a little guy. The picture I sent you is not a very flattering picture of either of them, and his haircut is terrible. But
that hair is garbage. But he's a nice looking human, but that haircut immediately, for some reason in my mind, I'm like, oh, it looks like he's bopping to The Offspring. Remember that band?
Yes. I was expecting a man bigger than, because she's tall. So I was expecting a man like taller than her, very muscly, hairy.
She's in flats in this photo too.
And she's still towering
and crouching.
Yeah. So he must be like 5'7", 5'8". But so that was the main thing that I caught. But the fact that, she dated someone who didn't share her views, to me, I mean, I don't think this is like take her. I don't know what card y'all want to take from her black card, her trans card, her LGBTQ card, I don't know, but I would have a difficult time.
I don't think I could reconcile some of those things, but I don't think it's our responsibility or role or duty to police her and what she does with her love life. And I think I read a statement that said like people are, human. And what's interesting to me is if you really are down for somebody and with somebody and you have values that don't correspond, albeit even political ones, if you have beliefs that are harmful to me as a human and you aren't forced because of your feelings for me to re-examine how you move about the world, then that's a problem for me personally.
Well, my other issue is she was acting so giddy. I thought the lady was high. I thought that maybe she had taken like an edible or some shrooms. She just seemed out of it. I don't know why, because being a Republican doesn't make you bad. And
no,
like, well, so, I mean, I don't know why she said a MAGA, like she used the word MAGA. I don't know why she said that. She could have just said like, oh, my ex happened to be a Republican.
Don't you think?
And then also being a cop is not like automatically you're
of course
bad.
Not.
So I just feel like she was kind of talking loose, and I don't like, she just seemed out of it to me.
Don't you think actors tend to exaggerate?
So I mean, clearly not clearly, but I would assume that he doesn't have a problem with black trans women if he openly dated one for a long time.
Allegedly. Yeah.
So I feel bad for her because all the comments to me,
see, you don't need to put all your business out there. also. Like,
Well,
I don't know.
I always say the same thing, which is like people are so judgmental, and then you go and drop off your kids at your uncle's wife's house to let them babysit the same uncle who molested you when you were 10. Like, I mean, people do that kind of shit. People, have super racist parents, and then you still spend every holiday with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Somehow you reconcile that. So I don't know how you have a hard time reconciling this lady you don't even know and her sort of awkwardly saying that someone she's not in a relationship anymore.
It's
I mean,
bringing
maybe
some.
that was part of why they broke up, is that she couldn't.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, again, you weren't evolving in a way that I needed you to support me as a human. It is ultimately what
But
that
we
is.
don't know that. She didn't say that.
We
She also didn't say that he didn't. So, just because she said he was a MAGA Republican and a cop doesn't mean that he doesn't support the LGBTQIA plus community.
I mean, there are gay Republicans, so of course these oxymorons exist.
So I don't know. A couple of the things I received, it was kind of like, can you believe this? And it's like,
Yeah, I
well,
can actually,
I
because
can. I mean, you sleep in the bed every night with someone who ran up your credit, let his side piece drive your car to work. I mean, I don't know.
well, see,
And somehow you still find a way.
the problem with policing certain aspects, well, policing people's lives, their personal lives, is it makes people afraid to be their authentic selves. And if we all were really allowed to be honest about how we really felt about everything, I think we would be we would have progressed so much more as a species. But again, it's things like this. It's really nobody's business. It kind of reminded me of like Jada Pinkett. Like, just like clamp down on that. Nobody really needs to know that stuff, and maybe it gets you a lot of attention for a minute, but the aftertaste it's going to leave in people's mouths is not maybe going to be what you need.
Well, she was running her mouth because she's promoting a show, and she was saying that part of the show was talking about this relationship. So of course, this could just all be her attempt at publicity.
Sure.
And I mean, it worked. People are talking about
Well,
her.
is it or Gerard Carmichael? What was all that?
So after the backlash, she, of course, made comments like that she, thinks that we should lead with empathy, and that she still, while she was in a relationship with someone who didn't share her beliefs, she maintained her own. And,
I should hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an opinion except that, she seemed like she was just kind of talking loose, and that was more uncomfortable to me than, because I don't know the facts of her relationship, and the fact that, he doesn't seem like, I mean, if she was hugged up on Burt Reynolds, then I could see like, well, I don't know. I mean, I might,
it's Burt.
I might turn the other cheek when it comes to certain
Hopefully
things.
she could get him a better toothpick. Well, rest in peace, Burt. Anyway, he did have some bad fake hair for a while.
But I mean, this guy was like, oh, so you went through the fire for all this? Okay.
Well, here's the other thing though. We had our review for Together hasn't come out, but I think there's a nice analogy of how it's very easy to get used to something that might be toxic, and between a couple and your private life and what is normalized, or even growing up with your parents, like behaviors that you think are normal in your house, and then when you tell others, they're like, whoa, that's extremely dysfunctional. How did you think that was okay?
Well, and she was talking about him like she still loves him. I mean, there wasn't a single syllable that sounded like she didn't have very fond feelings towards him. She did not explain why they broke up. Again, she's promoting her one woman show where she says she'll talk about it. I'm intrigued. Am I going to go see it? I mean,
I'll watch those YouTube clips.
Well, I mean, if she performs in LA, maybe. I'm going to start volunteering at the LGBT Center. And sometimes if you volunteer at the theater where they do shows, you can see it for free. So, maybe I would put in so much effort in that I would volunteer the night she's doing her one woman show at the LGBT Center, so that I can go see it for free. But otherwise, I'll just catch it on YouTube.
It seems complicated.
But I think all the work this lady has done to try to empower and bring attention and advocate for all kinds of people, it seems kind of shitty that like people are jumping down her throat over a relationship we really don't know that much about, and that she speaks of very fondly. But
let's remove ourselves from the current considerably fraught climate that we're all surviving in right now, and think about when other um, activists, we're representing the people, say like a black person, and then it comes out that they're married to somebody that's white, and that ruined their credibility. That just for example, and now we would look on that as being kind of small-minded and archaic. That was the reaction. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. Not to defend this, but maybe this is just a super romantic ruse for her to get his attention again.
Maybe. I don't really think about her that much in general, even before all this. I saw she was on T.S. Madison's podcast, and they're very different, and they've often been pitted against one another because they speak about the trans experience in like almost opposite ways.
Yes.
And I thought they had an interesting conversation because she brought up the fact that people criticize her for seeming whitewashed, and she sort of explained her background, and I think it put things into context. And I don't have an opinion about her except that it good for her for fighting for trans rights, and she does speak very eloquently about a lot of things. And I myself probably would have a hard time. Well, for sure, I'd have a hard time just telling people I'm dating someone who seems in contrast to my own beliefs. Like, I would probably keep that shit to myself. But I don't know, if I wanted attention, if I was trying to promote something, maybe I would spill my business. But and then people might argue that if she's willing to put it out there, they should be allowed to criticize, which I don't disagree with either. Because if you don't want people to talk about you, then don't say shit.
Exactly.
But anyway, moving on. 5 on the black hand side. 5 black filmmakers who are not Tyler Perry.
Oh. Yes.
Who do you have first?
Who do I have?
Madeleine Hunt-Ehrlich.
Yes, and I had every intention of, I just didn't have time. Her debut, which I believe premiered at TIFF, is called The Ballad of Susan Cesar, who's a real life activist, writer, anti-colonialist woman from Martinique originally. And it sounds, the Acropolis Cinema was playing it for one night only on the 23rd. And I think we had something else going on, but it's about an actress played by Zita Hanro, who
Jones.
Not Zeta, Catherine Zeta Jones. No, Zita Hanro, who.
Whenever I think of Catherine Zeta Jones, I think of Ab Fab.
Yes.
What's that actress's name who made a cameo on that episode?
Kristen Scott Thomas.
And Patsy and Eddie have joined a book club, but they don't read books, they read tabloids. And I believe they're reading Hello Magazine.
She's like the heroine of the story, Catherine Zeta Jones. Yes, I remember that clearly. Zita Hanro is a Caesar winner for Fatima. I believe that was a best newcomer Caesar she won several years ago. Anyway, she's the lead, and she's herself playing a writer that's inhabiting the role of Suzanne Cesar, and it sounds very interesting, compelling, and experimental, but I have not seen it, and I would like to, but we're highlighting her today. Madeleine Hunt-Ehrlich.
Next.
Charles Murray, who I was not able to finish, because usually when I bring up people in this segment, if I aren't familiar with their work that I'm shouting out, I try to watch something by them to not seem like a complete moron. But I wasn't able to finish his feature, The Devil You Know, but I did watch, like half an hour of it. You were in the room.
Yes, I was.
Because it's executive produced by Michael-Ealy and Omar Epps. And it has quite a cast. And it's kind of...
yes, because when I saw Michael-Ealy, I was listening to I was watching some Double Toasted videos, and I watched their review of The Intruder back to back with
that classic
Fatal, with because Michael-Ealy and
Hilary Swank, and
then The Intruder stars a batshit crazy Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, yes. Not the superior Quaid, yes.
But Charles Murray.
Charles Murray. Anyway, I haven't watched The Devil You Know or completed it, but it's interesting. I mean, I like Omar Epps. I love Glenn Turman. He's in it. Vanessa Bell Calloway, Michael Beach, good old Michael Beach. He's in so many things. Theo Rossi, we've seen. It's Interesting. Oh, and I think it came up on my radar because one of the kids that played Adam Sandler's sons in Happy Gilmore 2 is in it.
Oh.
The one who you thought you recognized. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
Connor Sherry is his name. But yes.
Next.
Next, I have Darin Scott, who spent so much time. I thought that I had brought him up before for this segment, but I guess not. He started out as a producer. He produced Menace to Society, I believe. That was a big early hit on his resume. As a director, he did Tales from the Hood 2 and 3, which of course are inferior to Rusty Cundiff's original. But you have Keith David and Lynn Whitfield, I believe, is in the third one. Anyway, they're worth watching. Some of the segments are better than others. But he did I think his debut was this film. We talked about it somewhere in the podcast because I watched it relatively recently. Caught Up, starring Bokeem Woodbine from the 90s. And if you like Bokeem, I think that is definitely worth watching. But yes, Darin Scott.
Next.
Dawn Porter, who you're familiar with because we reviewed her documentary, Luther, Never Too Much.
Oh gosh, so many comments about that video we made.
It's quite beloved, that documentary, but I know you and I took umbrage with certain aspects of it from a queer
the
perspective.
critique we received was that it doesn't matter what his sexuality was. I love Luther, and I don't I don't care about his sexuality, and it's like, I think that's the problem.
Well, he cared about his sexuality, trust, okay?
Because if you, let's say, middle-aged lady with a husband and 2 kids and a grandbaby on the way, let's just say, like, I really love your peach cobbler, and I come to you every week to buy your peach cobbler, and all I do is talk about how great your peach cobbler is, and then one day you show me a picture of your, ugly kids, and then I say, oh, no, I don't
believe in this.
I don't believe in this.
You have no right to exist in this
I don't
way.
I don't want to know anything about you except that peach cobbler. Like, I mean, that's how that sounds to me when people try to say that, like, someone's sexuality doesn't matter, because it's like, well, because what you're saying is you don't want to see.
Exactly. And keep that baby in the house. Don't ever bring them outside and flaunt it in my face.
That's how I see it. It's like, the reason that this person, like a lot of notable male people, including politicians,
women too,
stay in the closet,
and trans
women.
people, yes,
but is that they know that people won't accept them. So it's like, to just very proudly say, like, someone's sexuality doesn't matter in that way, that's not like, because some people do say it, but it's in the way of like, I'm fine with them being gay or straight. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who actively say, like, I ignore that part of them and only enjoy the one thing.
Those are the same dum-dums that say they don't see color. You know what? And maybe if we all survive to better times in this country, a great reality TV pitch would be recruiting people that have never had to code switch, and then creating scenarios where they have to become completely different people in order to survive.
Anyway, you're talking about Dawn Porter.
Anyway, Dawn Porter, sorry, ma'am. It's a good documentary. It's just from a queer perspective, I remember finding personally lacking in that way. But she's directed many, many others. She's actually quite prolific. And I'm bad with anime and documentaries because sometimes those things feel like work. And if I'm not working, but again, Rise Again, Tulsi and the Red Summer has been on a list of things for me to watch for a long time. Gideon's Army is notable from her. And of course, she did the John Lewis Good Trouble doc, which I'm ashamed to say I still haven't watched that, but it's coming. It's coming.
Last but not least,
Rapman, who I believe it was his debut that we covered, Blue Story. We have a review out there for that. It's a 2019 release. I think we saw it in 2020 during the pandemic. It starred Michael Ward, who you're a little more familiar with now because he was in Empire of Light, opposite Olivia Colman, and recently in Eddington, the black cop that becomes stuck between all of the terrible people in that film. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see he was in headlines this week, though?
Because?
He was just recently accused of assault.
Oh, no.
Of a intimate nature, and that's all, but that's a bummer. Also, the fact that Eddington is tanking at the box office. And Ari Aster is out there talking about all the projects that he's got lined up, and one of them being a sequel to Eddington. And it's like, sir, I don't know. I think that might be dead now if you were going to use that character, because Michael Ward's probably going to have to go through the same thing, Jonathan Majors, the same trajectory of a year's worth of punishment before people want to acknowledge his existence again.
Dang.
Which is unfortunate. Like all that shit with Keke Palmer, didn't she pull that interview she did with him? I think that's shameful. That you can't let this man be interviewed by Keke Palmer.
Well, I think people were criticizing her for ignoring the fact that, like she was giving him a pass, maybe.
No, again,
I don't know. I didn't watch it, and I don't.
That is for the courts to deal with. How punitive do we need to be? Are we going to ruin this man forever? Did he pay a price? Like people should be allowed to atone. I don't know. I hate that attitude.
Okay, well, moving on to the restaurant section. So I tried this place called Oi Bar in Studio City, and it's on Ventura, and when I parked to walk up to it, it was kind of on the corner next to, like, I don't quite recall, but it wasn't a very attractive corner, and the building itself was kind of like, what? Well, attractive is in, like, it looked like an auto body parts store, and then a store that maybe is like either closed down or out of business.
Wait, so you mean typical for LA?
It just didn't look like much. So before I walked in, I was thinking, like, okay, how am I going to
get out of this?
Yeah, like I'm just gonna, because I was meeting some people, like, well, I'll just say hi and bye. I'm not gonna stay too long. But I walked in, it's actually really cute, and it's clearly very trendy. I mean, as soon as I sat down, one of the Try guys, Zach, like sat at the table right next to us, and it was the bartender was friendly-ish, but there was one more person in our party who wasn't there, and she's like, well, you better save them a seat, because we're gonna. But then she was saying, like, well, you got to buy a drink to put on the seat, and it's like, okay. But sure enough, like within 15 minutes they were fully packed.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy the food quite a bit, and it's just one of those places where it's super tiny, really tight seating. It's not particularly comfortable. So I think the best time to go would be like before dinner, like maybe get there at like 5:30
mm-hmm.
and be out by like 6:30, mm-hmm. because
you always the escape plan.
Well, because it's not enjoyable anymore when it's like, because we were sat by the front door, mm-hmm. and I think we left around 8 maybe. And I mean, it was like really busy, and there were people standing, like
they were watching,
well,
waiting.
Yeah, like kind of like I can't really get comfortable because mm-hmm. there are people standing there, and but
drilling daggers at you with their eyes, wishing you would leave so they could sit.
Yeah. But anyway, and then you made this Olive Garden soup.
I did. I found it accidentally because, trust, I don't really love the Olive Garden, okay? I'm not Jasmine Masters.
I haven't been to Olive Garden in...
Well, when we lived in Hawthorne, we would go.
Where was there an Olive? Oh, in Culver City, there's an Olive Garden.
Right, we went like BJ's too, yeah.
We went maybe like twice?
We went at least twice because they had that deal once where you would...
That's right, where you would buy one entree and take one to go. So we would go and... Well, then you get full on those breadsticks and the soup and salad, and then it's like, oh, now I have these. Now I have a bowl of spaghetti and some lasagna I got to take home.
For whatever reason, the basic items that were on the take-home menu were better because wherever we got there, the more extravagant items available to us to order in-house were terrible. But all that shit's so mid to me. It's like Soup Plantation. You would go and it's just like everything is like...
Well, especially if you take it to go and heat it up the next day, then it fully is like I might as well have just taken a frozen dinner out the freezer
A
and
Michelina is like
put it in the microwave.
cost 45% less than I paid for this. I think I got something with shrimp, I recall, and as usual, I'm disappointed with many seafood dishes I get at these restaurants.
But anyway, the soup you made was like gnocchi with
It was spinach, gnocchi, chicken, and half and half.
It was much better the next day. Because the first day it was quite soupy, but the next day it almost tasted like gnocchi and cream sauce.
Well, it's not good for you, I'll tell you that.
No, because then you made this like olive bread, but you put all this manchego cheese on it. It was delicious, but it tasted
No. I didn't put cheese on that bread. I've been getting a different bread loaf. It was an Asiago loaf, so the cheese was already baked into the bread.
Really?
Yes.
That was, I mean, whatever that cost, it was money well spent because that tasted like I was eating a block of cheese.
I think it was like $6.99.
Really?
Yeah, and the one I made for us tonight was the Kalamata.
I would have thought that loaf cost like $25.
Oh hell no!
Really? $6?
Yeah, it was. It's
you better get that loaf again. That was very.
I
good.
thought it was too rich for your blood. I passed it up tonight.
No, I mean I definitely felt bloated and crazy afterwards.
I also had like a half a stick of butter and garlic and garlic powder, and I mean I do it up. It's good.
Let's move on. Films released we didn't cover.
Oh hi. I might watch this tonight, but these fools at the studio, like I bypassed all of the. I didn't think you'd be interested in this at all, and we happened to catch a trailer of it, and you were like, "That looks really good," and then the week before, the publicists were like, "Oh, we do have screening links." It's like, well, why didn't you tell me that a month ago instead of sending me 15 emails about these screenings that I want to drive to? And so I asked for it, and it took like 48 hours, and we received it at 9:00 on a Friday night. It's like, well, I can't do it now, so I might still watch it, but we did have plans to cover it, but. Directed by Sophie Brooks, her sophomore film starring, what's the girl's name? Molly
Ringwald?
No.
Shannon
Parker or something. That girl from Theater Camp.
Okay.
Anyway.
And Shoshana.
So this premiered at the 2023 Toronto International Film Festival. I saw it at the 2024 Palm Springs Film Festival, which is the last time because this year I didn't go. And it's a new Michael Winterbottom film. The subject matter feels like we want to avoid probably dealing with this right now, but it's like an espionage type thriller in 1930s Tel Aviv. So, I think it's just finally getting dumped into theaters, but I had no reason to want to watch it again. But again, if you're a completist and you like Michael Winterbottom, I mean, check it out.
Projects of interest: The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon.
So J.T. Molnar, who directed Strange Darling, which so many people loved the shit out of. We did review it. I thought it was okay. But they are adapting this Stephen King novella that I remember reading, I think in junior high, and quite liking. And I remember when this came out, it's basically about a girl that gets lost in the woods and was obsessed with this baseball star. I remember Laura Dern being attached to an early announcement about this adaptation. Anyway, I think that's a nice little Stephen King slice to pick up again.
This past week on Patreon, we reviewed the film Death by Temptation, starring Kadeem Hardison. Freddie Jackson's in it, Melba Moore. It's a very interesting movie.
Samuel Jackson, yeah.
So if people want to hear us talk about it, they can give us some money. Unfortunately, there are many entries in the obituary section.
God, people were just dying.
We can start with Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Well, that's the most depressing one. Jesus.
Yeah, he was only 54. He was in Costa Rica on vacation, and he drowned. He got caught in a riptide and wasn't able to get out.
And then your mom told us something creepy too.
Well, my mom was in Costa Rica 2 years ago, and she said they were at that same beach, and actually they had to leave because someone spotted some sort of like poisonous something in the water. It wasn't like a shark, but there was danger in the water. So she said that her group had to leave, and where they were staying, they had a private beach, but they wanted to go to this area because it was like touristy.
This is sounding very suddenly last.
And she also said there were no lifeguards.
This is sounding very suddenly last summer. Like we couldn't go to the free beach anymore. We had to go.
But of course, Malcolm-Jamal Warner is a big part of my childhood because I was a huge consumer of the Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think about Malcolm-Jamal Warner's character Theo Huxtable quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I often laugh thinking about some of the more memorable episodes. I think, well, for people who watch the show, there are so many highlights, but I think probably the most, well, to me, the Gordon Gartrell shirt when he had his sister Denise, played by Lisa Bonet.
Make that ugly
shirt for him because he was trying to impress a girl he wanted to take on a date. And he asked his dad, Cliff, Bill Cosby, if he could have he actually went and bought the shirt, and it was something outrageous.
It was,
like $200 or something in 1980, whatever. And of course, Cliff is like, you don't even have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to return this shirt. I can't. I told this girl I have it. I'm sorry, you can't have it. So his older sister, Denise, is like, well, I took some sewing classes. I think I can do it. And he gives her like $20 to go to the fabric store.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the end of the episode is the moment arrives for her to reveal the shirt. But first, she shows it to their younger sister, Vanessa. And Vanessa's like, oh, you're in trouble because this shirt is ugly as hell. Well, no, she doesn't show it to her. She's sort of like scared because she's like, I gave Theo the shirt. I don't know if he's going to like it. And then Theo comes into the room wearing the shirt, and it's terrible. It's poorly constructed, lopsided, all the things.
And just keep a jacket on, sir.
But then, of course, like every episode, it ends with it ends nicely because the dad, Cliff, never returned the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, he gives it to his son, like, lesson learned. Wear the damn shirt. But yeah, there are so many moments. And in addition to that, he was on Malcolm and Eddie, that show he did. It was several seasons with Eddie Griffin. And then he had a lot of like supporting parts.
He had a lot of supporting roles, two of which I watched this week, which we'll talk about in the for Patreon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Gone Too Soon.
Yeah,
I think
shocking.
A big part of a lot of people's lives. And of course, a lot of celebrities came out to say a lot of things. He used to date Regina King, and of course, she had nice things to say, but
she's had a hard time recently. I mean,
yeah, with her son.
Oh my God.
But moving on, an actress named Eileen Fulton died. She was 91. She's best known for playing a character on the soap opera As the World Turns. And she played that character for almost a continuous 50 years.
God.
So, yeah, she died. And then
she was in the original Broadway run of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Was she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then I did not know who this person was, but you started playing her music earlier, and I was really into it. A singer, an English singer and actress named Cleo Lane died at the age of 97.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice is beautiful.
Yeah, like you said, like we both kind of were like, oh, she sounds like Shirley Bassey a little bit.
She sounds like Shirley Bassey. She's also a beautiful woman, like Shirley Bassey. And she was known for her scat singing, but
yes, scatting.
But yeah, I'm anxious to listen to more of her music. And she acted a bit, right?
Not really.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, like probably about as much as Connie Francis.
Oh, okay. Well, but yeah, I'm looking forward to discovering Cleo Lane's music. And then, of course, Ozzy Osbourne died at the age of 76.
Yeah, I mean... Wow, was that the early 2000s when his family had that show? So
I was reminded of this when he died, but I think I may have watched every episode of The Osbournes.
I didn't watch any. Wow. But I remember I had some friends that were really into it.
Well, and I also forgot that the reason I discovered Chipotle is because Ozzy Osbourne famously sort of introduced Chipotle to the world in a 2003 episode. Because
Oh.
he went to a Chipotle and said this is like his favorite burrito place. And at the time I was in school in Las Vegas, and there was a Chipotle in front of the university. It was new, but I was poor, and I didn't often eat out. Although at that time I did have money, but I wouldn't usually eat out unless like it was comped or something. But anyway, after Ozzy mentioned it, I went and tried it. And then of course loved it and ate too much of it for a very long time. But that's actually my memory of Ozzy Osbourne is Chipotle.
I was St. Paul 2003 was my first Chipotle. Some friends, I had no idea where we were going, and that was the first time I experienced tasting cilantro because my mother hated it and didn't allow it in the house, so I didn't know of its existence. This wonderful, wonderful flavor, this little green.
And then of course people often cite him. Well, he's kind of a prolific.
Black Sabbath. I mean,
yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, Black Sabbath is and he himself is like a huge part of pop culture, and it was heavy metal music. He was labeled the Prince of Darkness, but people often cite him biting the head off of that bat on stage.
Yeah.
But so I was reading about it. He didn't know, or I mean, I'm sure I knew this from back when I watched the show, but I totally forgot that he thought that was a fake bat. He didn't think that was a real bat. That's what I read. And then I was also reading someone had posted that the sort of like jaw strength required to bite that head off would be pretty intense. So
I don't think that would have tasted good. And bats have they carry a lot of things.
But I could be wrong. Maybe he...
Remember Goop in the movie Contagion? Part of that was a bat.
When I think of bats, I think of Ace Ventura and Guano.
Oh, no, it's the sequel.
Oh, it's the sequel.
When Nature
Guano.
Calls. I haven't watched that since they came out. Oh my God.
And then lastly, Hulk Hogan died.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is? I mean, he's like larger than life, especially for like those of us who are, kids in the 80s. And I was a big fan of WWF. In fact, I remember the day I can of my shitty memory, I can visualize the day that a cousin told me wrestling was fake, and I never watched it again. But yeah, Hulk Hogan is so recognizable. He died at the age of 71. He had some pretty major, I think, like orthopedic surgery shortly before his passing. But then I read that, I didn't read too much into it. I don't know how he died, but I thought I read that they don't, like, the details haven't been released, but he had some pretty serious health issues.
I think he had some mental issues too.
And then unfortunately his reputation was, he had that reality show with his family.
Yeah, and the racist rant.
And then he had that racist rant with the sex tape. So then of course that really sullied his impression.
Hard to come back from something like that. It is.
And then of course
Brooke,
who I always think of because she has a song called Move that I listen to all the time.
You had me in the bed one night and you're like, guess who this is? And you made me go through so many people. Brooke Hogan was no one I would ever have guessed singing that little song.
But remember, she had a song back when they had the reality show. She was trying to launch her music career and her dad like invested fully in it. And I recall her having a song with Paul Wall. And
I mean, I was completely ignorant of all that.
So. Yeah, I actually liked Hulk Hogan until I got old enough to kind of start to feel like I think that maybe this person doesn't support people like me. But but his daughter seemed cool, and I know his son Nick had some issues, but just like Ozzy Osbourne, people who were involved in reality TV, and then you get a very different glimpse of who they are. It's It's interesting.
Reality TV kind of ruined us. But we never had. I never had one moment as a child thinking that WWF was real by any means, because my dad would literally scream if it came on, like, that shit's fake. He was so angry about it. Like, I never thought that was real, because it was pointed out to me from a very young age that this was not real. Don't even entertain. Don't put it on the TV. Don't watch it. We only wanted authenticity in my household, which is ironic looking back.
Yeah, I had no idea. So it was devastational.
Yes, Reby.
Devastational.
You know what? It's too bad we didn't get to talk to Reby when we met Latoya.
I know, because the first thing I would say to her is, devastational is not a word, right?
Does that word haunt you?
No, I wouldn't. You know what I would have said? Centipede.
Yeah. I'd say, like, girl, the centipede is hot.
Yeah. Well, you know what I would have asked her? Who came up with the treatment for that video? And what is the centipede?
That must be a phallic. That's a phallic symbol.
It's such a good song.
But I don't want to collapse centipedes and penises. I think that's creepy.
Well, all right.
I also made this weird pasta this week, and I was thinking of centipedes as we were eating it, and it was disturbing me a little because it was giant fusilli.
Well, you control your mind, so.
Okay.
Anyway, the secret film this week was your choice, and you chose the 2004 American martial arts action film, Kill Bill Volume 2, written and directed by a Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
I am familiar because I watched Kill Bill Volume 1 for the first time after Michael Madsen's death.
Yes, and he's barely in that one.
And it was my week to choose the secret film, and I chose Kill Bill Volume 1 because I thought, oh, this is like a popular Michael Madsen film. He's in that movie for like 13 seconds.
Uh-huh.
His role is more prominent in Kill Bill Volume 2, but you chose it, I'm assuming, because you figured if we don't watch it now.
I didn't realize as soon as Kill Bill Volume 1 ended that you were so adamantly not going to want to watch the follow-up film immediately.
Baby, when I tell you I could care less, once things come in my brain and out, it's done. I don't think.
So I chose it so that you would finally see it in kind of close succession to the first one before all your memories were gone from it.
I would say 60% of my memory was gone from the first one
already.
I didn't remember. And how many weeks had passed? 3?
Like 3, yeah.
I barely remember the first one. I don't even remember what I didn't like. Well, that's not true. I didn't like Lucy Liu.
There you go. Okay.
So I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that she was paralyzed and spent 12 hours in the car, which was unbelievable to me that no one, they saw this bloody massacre in the room she was in, and no one came out to look at least at the people who were killed, like their vehicles. But I'm not criticizing the film. I thought it was excellent. So we watched Kill Bill Volume 2. Mm-hmm. What is the premise for this one? The bride continues her quest of vengeance against her former boss and lover Bill, the reclusive bouncer Bud, and the treacherous one-eyed Elle.
Yeah, so she has 3 more people on her hit list to kill in this film.
What did I think about this one? It's different from the first one.
I mean, Tarantino, I think, described the first one as a kung fu film and this one as a western. It's still very kung fu-y to me, but yeah, it does feel, even to that final shot of the shot of Uma Thurman going out of Michael Madsen's trailer is very much like the hobo version of The Searchers. But yeah, it feels like a western.
Yeah, but it still retains like the sort of non-linear.
Yeah, we're skipping around in chapters and
it's also a slow build.
Sure.
I did like this movie. It's just different. And I would never do this to myself, and I don't want people to ask me to do this, but I could see it being like at a theater showing them back to back.
Well, that is happening and you refuse to go.
Right. I'm not going to do that. But I do think that it would make sense to watch them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I could do it. There would need to be intermissions and alcohol and snacks.
I'm sure that those things are there. Yeah.
And the seats would have to be comfortable.
Uh-huh. Well, it's at the Vista, so the last thing we saw in there was that film Ash with Aaron Paul.
I don't remember.
Remember that?
Oh, that one that's on Sunset and like Hollywood?
Yeah, and they gave us a lot of wine and the director was there.
Oh, you know who else was there?
Uh,
Jimmy Jam.
that's right. Jimmy Jam was there, and you were wearing a Janet shirt.
And I was wearing a Janet shirt, and he looked at me.
That's right.
I think he knew stay away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I like this movie. It does feel different, but I think it complements the first one really well. I could definitely see people watching them together.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was trying to think if, like, you couldn't just watch Kill Bill Volume 2. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that this film has a companion piece. Like, I don't think that's a detriment to the film.
No, it's just the second part. Yeah, and of course you would want. I feel like you'd want to watch the first part.
And actually, I kind of appreciate that versus some of thinking about like the old guard too, where it's like y'all waited so long and then you come back with this bullshit that's like, and then Uma Thurman's in it, but
I went absolute garbage.
But it's also like, yeah, we don't remember this, and you didn't like to have this be the second one, and then it doesn't even have an ending. And I feel like I would rather see something like the two Kill Bills, where as a whole they feel like a complete story.
Well, I think the setup's actually kind of, I don't want to use the word brilliance because Tarantino's already got a big head, but we already get the gist of what happened to the bride in Volume 1. And then in Volume 2, it opens with Uma Thurman in the driving, and she brings us up to date again. But then the first segment of that is what happened in that church.
Well, just to break down the story, then it's broken up into chapters. It's chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So chapter 6 is called Massacre at Two Pines. So this is a flashback to that wedding chapel scene you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not retreading anything. This time we learned that Bill was at the rehearsal before the massacre took place, where he left. And it's in this film. In the first film, we never learned Uma Thurman's name. They keep bleeping it out. And in this film, they bleep out her name once before someone actually says it. And her name's Beatrix. But yeah, we see that Bill showed up and clearly had an issue with her. We don't learn until the end that because then the question is like, why? Because I assumed he did it because, once you're in, you can't get out, like as an assassin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, he says he was jealous. So
because he was in a personal relationship with her and got her pregnant.
It's also in this film, in the opening chapter, that we learned that Beatrix, Uma Thurman's character, was pregnant with Bill's child, not her groom to be.
Whoever that man is, yeah.
Okay, chapter 7 is called The Lonely Grave of Paula Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we meet Michael Madsen. His character Bud is the brother of Bill, and Bill's played by David Carradine.
Yes.
Who you were like, he looks like an old lesbian, and then finally it hit me, he looks like Lily Tomlin.
And fits, tracks. Excuse me. Paula Schultz, that is apparently a reference to a film that I've never seen, but I need to. It's called The Wicked Dreams of Paula Schultz, 1968, and it's about an East German Olympic woman who pole vaults over the Berlin Wall.
Oh.
Played by Elka Summer, and Bob Crane's in it.
But Uma finds Michael Madsen with the intention to kill her, but he surprises her ass and shoots her in the chest with a shotgun. At first, I'm like, how is she not dead? But we find out that he shot her with rock salt because he doesn't want to kill her yet. He wants to torture her, basically. So he buries her alive in a coffin, and he lives in the desert. And then he gets her sword, that Hattori Hanzo sword that's priceless and the best sword ever made. Mm-hmm. He had told a lie early. Well, we learn it's a lie, that the sword Bill gave him, the Hattori Hanzo sword Bill gave him, he had sold for $250. But this sword he sells to L, who is Daryl Hannah's character, for $1 million. But anyway, then we cut to chapter 8, which is called The Cruel Tutelage of Pai Mei, which I kept saying Pei Wei, which is like does Pei Wei still exist?
I remember I liked some noodle dishes there. I'm sure somewhere.
Let me see here.
I feel like there is one in LA.
Pei Wei is supposed to be like, yeah, they have a website that's active. Where is there a Pei Wei?
Well, because the one we used to go to on Sunset closed by the Landmark Sunset. Remember, it was.
What was that theater called? It used to be called something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we first moved here, was it a Lomley?
Yes. Pei Wei is like the lesser version of P.F. Chang's, I believe.
I think
Like how there's Armani and Armani Exchange.
Oh,
It's P.F.
wow.
Chang's and Payway. Like I
Wow.
think P.F. Chang's owns Payway. No?
Oh, I don't know.
Where is
I don't know
there?
him like that.
I
I
think,
remember liking noodles there. I don't know.
I think that there is a Payway in, the closest one's in Tustin.
Really?
Where is Tustin? Is that like the valley?
I don't know. I feel like it sounds too far for my business.
Yeah, I think that's too far. Where? Here, let me
Because I
just.
can make those noodles at home.
Oh, no. It's in Irvine.
Okay,
Like,
that's far.
yeah, that's like, yeah, that's too far for some.
Mm-mm.
I'll just go to Panda Express.
Although the one in the grocery store is closed.
I had a friend who worked at Payway in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I wonder if he's doing all right. You knew him. Anyway, so.
Yes.
I got so off track.
Yes, you did.
Chapter 8,
May.
The Cruel Tutelage of Pei Mei.
My favorite.
I think this is my favorite. Well, I don't know. Also, the following chapter, that like 40 minutes, I thought was really good.
So that's Gordon Liu, who is a huge star, a martial arts star, but he worked a lot with the Shaw brothers. So if you know martial arts film, you know the Shaw brothers. But I had totally, I don't think we even highlighted him talking about Volume 1, but he is part of the Crazy 88s as well. So he's playing two characters.
So this chapter 8 is a flashback, and we learn Uma Thurman, or this is where Uma Thurman learns her kung fu training from Pei Mei. And it's in the style of like those old kung fu, which is giving me Wu-Tang Clan, which, you know, RZA does the music for this movie. But
well, yeah, he's all friendly with Tarantino.
Yeah. But he is teaching her like the discipline and swordsmanship. And he also teaches her the 5-point palm exploding heart technique, which is important to the end of the movie. But his training of her is pretty brutal. It's also important to know that he teaches her how to like punch through wood, which is going to be very useful with her having been buried alive. Okay. Chapter 9 is called Elle and I. So Elle is Daryl Hannah, and we know that Michael Madsen had called her to say, I have Uma Thurman and her sword. You want it? Okay, well, it'll be $1 million cash. And then Daryl Hannah tells him, well, just do me one favor. Make sure that she suffers up until she dies. But Beatrix, Uma Thurman's able to escape the coffin by punching through it. But during that time, Daryl Hannah kills Michael Madsen by putting a black mamba snake in the briefcase with all the money,
which is Beatrix's code name.
That's right.
So
that makes sense, because then it looks like she did it.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But the best part of this, we're going to talk about this scene more in a bit, but the best part is when Uma Thurman shows up to confront Daryl Hannah. Because as soon as Elodie opens the door and Uma Thurman flies in and kicks her, and the entire fight sequence is good. Well, and it culminates in Uma Thurman pulling out. Well, first she asks Daryl Hannah, what did you say to Pei Mei to make him rip your eye out? And what did she say?
She called him a foolish old man.
And then we see him rip her eye out. So she gets her revenge by killing him.
She poisoned his fish heads, which reminds me of Susan Tyrrell's little quote about the whores with the fish heads in Calcutta.
So, and Uma didn't know that, so she's surprised to learn that he's dead.
Yeah.
But then they get into a smackdown, drag out fight.
A pretty epic fight.
Yeah, it's really good. But the best part of it is Uma Thurman yanks out Daryl Hannah's other eye, and the way Daryl Hannah, I mean, it's wild as hell.
I mean, you know, it just occurred to me, it's not unlike her death scene in Blade Runner as Pris.
Oh,
it's very, the physicality of that death scene is similar. I was struck by, I think Daryl Hannah is beautiful in this.
Yeah.
And I love Elle Driver. But those lower eyelashes, impressive. You think those are real?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I
I
love
think
this.
you don't notice people don't really do their makeup like that. Like she didn't
Sure.
have eyeliner on. Like that's not a very common nowadays you wouldn't have a chance to see someone's natural eyelashes like that because
Mhm.
everyone's wearing,
Mhm.
wearing more eye makeup. But she does have nice lower lashes, but I don't think they're like extraordinarily long that I can't believe they're not real.
Well, compared to, because there's so many close-ups of the women's eyes in that scene, and because Uma doesn't really have lower eyelashes, and I think she looks beautiful too. But I don't know. I find Daryl Hannah kind of fascinating. I think Uma is a better actor, but I think that scene is also enhanced by the knowledge that these two women hate each other.
I was trying to read about why they have a feud, and it's all vague and like rumors. So
Well,
except that people point to like circumstantial evidence, which is like, oh, at the premiere they couldn't be on the red carpet at the same time.
well,
And
that whatever had happened had long happened before the premiere.
yes,
But I think Uma was probably impossible to deal with. She's Quentin's right hand. They had a falling out because of that car accident scene that we recently found out about, that kind of fractured their relationship for a while. But I'm sure she was impossible to deal with. And
well, I'm
Daryl,
sure shooting was stressful too.
right?
Like, I mean, being out in that desert and
Well, what is it? Kathy Griffin has a story about Uma. It's like I don't think she has a sense of humor. Perhaps.
remember she got mad when David Letterman did that whole Uma Oprah. Uma.
Yeah, I don't think Uma has a sense of humor. So,
But anyway, chapter 10 is called Face to Face. And so Uma Thurman finally tracks Bill down in Mexico. And this is where she learns, because she's there to kill him. Like that's her. I mean, the name of the movie is called Kill Bill. So she finally gets to Bill's ass. And then that's when she realizes that baby that was in her belly when she was shot and left for dead and ultimately in a coma for 4 years, that her baby is alive and well. Her name's BB and she's living with her daddy.
mm-hmm.
And then I thought this was kind of the sleepiest section of the movie.
It actually is, and that's kind of not where you want things to be sleepy.
No, but they have a long talk and he like injects her with truth. Bill injects Beatrix with truth serum. And that's when we kind of learn that he was just jealous. But before all that happens, they're kind of playing nice in front of the daughter and
who falls asleep watching Shogun Assassin.
And Bill is being sort of very transparent with the daughter, like I did something bad to your mom and I feel bad about it.
And it's kind of like what you did to stomping on your goldfish. Mm-hmm.
But they have this, deep philosophical conversation. And then it seems clear. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Or I want to know what you think. I assume that Bill had sort of resigned himself to the idea that he was going to die that night.
I think I agree, but his own selfish game. That's why we get the thing with the truth serum that he injects her with. I think he still was trying to play it out for as long as he could.
So at the end, they kind of I think he tries to sucker punch her, but then she gets his ass with that 5-point palm exploding heart technique, and then we see him drop dead. And then Uma takes her daughter, drives home, and then the final scene is them in a hotel room and Uma crying in the bathroom from happiness. Yeah, I mean, this did feel, in totality, the two films feel pretty epic.
I agree.
And it was a pleasure. It is a simple story, about like revenge and
of course
all that. But I think Uma Thurman and seeing this character go through all this and then the gag of her as the audience, we know at the end of the first film that her daughter's alive. So it's not a surprise to us, but for her at the end to not only get revenge, but also sort of reclaim her motherhood. Because, I mean, it's just like everything this lady's been through. And then all this, and while all of this is going on, believing that her child is dead is wild as hell. And
that's how she's confronted with it. Yeah.
And then I think the final scene of her laying on that bathroom floor crying and then ultimately sort of like cry smiling,
happy tears,
seems very like probably I don't know how you could have ended the film better than that.
I agree. I think it's a fitting ending. I didn't go back to look. I haven't seen this since I saw it in the theater with my roommate at the time, Sean, in 2004. And I remember reading criticism from some gatekeeper that said Tarantino didn't know how to write children, that everything that the little girl said was unbelievable. But watching that now, I thought the kid was cute and fine, and it is a Tarantino
She
film.
does look
so-
at the camera a couple times.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
She's not perfect, but no, I mean, I didn't think she seemed. Also, her dad is like a. I mean, how would you? What's Bill's job title? I mean, he's like a
snake charmer.
I think considering her stock,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't expect her to be. Also, when we meet her, he's basically teaching her about guns and shooting, and
Oh yeah,
and she already knows how to like fake being dying, and like who knows what this girl has seen in her 4 years.
and I mean, there's some vocabulary that a kid wouldn't use, but she's repeating something her dad just said. So kids do that. Anyway, I don't know who said that. I think that is a little nitpicky because I think the kid's cute and fine.
My first thought after finishing the film is I wonder how Beatrix, Uma Thurman's character, would have proceeded had she not been pregnant.
Well, she probably would have still gotten revenge.
Yeah, but I think there's an added, I mean, obviously there's an added layer that she was pregnant, but I think it adds
Well, and can't get pregnant.
some like emotional collateral to all of this that.
And can't get pregnant again.
Are we told that?
Yeah, at the very beginning. Chuck or Buck, who likes to,
F. Oh, you're right. Yeah, he says you can do whatever you want because she can't get pregnant.
Just don't bruise her face. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it was a smart decision to have. I think Uma played the hell out of this role.
I agree.
But also the fact that her character was very pregnant when this happened, and then of course her presuming she lost her child really does like raise the stakes.
But the scene with Carradine, you're familiar with his brother too, by the way, Keith, where he's like, I'm a murdering bastard, and there are consequences to, what you did to me.
Yeah.
Like, what was she thinking? Like, he's clearly not a good person. You're carrying his baby, and you ran away without saying a word.
But I also feel like, your significant other doesn't have to be sort of a crime lord or like a. Yeah, what is his job title? How would you
I don't know how he makes his
Bill?
money,
but he, this like villainous, awful person. But it's like you don't have to be in a relationship with someone like that. Your man could be a mail carrier, and it's like
that's true.
Like leaving is difficult, and people get jealous and vengeful, and I mean, I listen to enough true crime to know that people don't handle shit well, and then. Again, I think the fact that she had been trained to kill and then thought that maybe she could ultimately, because part of the whole truth serum thing is Bill asks Beatrix, did you really think you were going to be able to like be happy with this man and have this baby
in Texas?
And she says no.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, so what am I supposed to do? Like,
I mean, if I
try
her rationalization is like, you should just killed Bill when you decided to leave, that you'd have the element of surprise.
Well, looking back, yeah, she should have just killed his ass. Of course, I like the strong like female cast. Like thinking about both films, I really liked Vivica Fox, even though I didn't love Lucy Liu. Like the character makes sense to me. It's just I wish it were a different actor portrayed in a different way. But yeah, all these like I like that the focus is more on the women.
Yes, I think that Tarantino, it's like Pam Grier and Jackie Brown. I think that he does well at constructing lead female characters. I have to say though, one of my favorite moments was with Michael Parks, who plays two characters as well, but his Esteban Vijay character, who is supposed to be Ricardo Montalban. And, Michael Parks is a white man, but I thought he knocked that scene out of the park.
Yeah, actually.
Who owns that brothel, and he's a friend of Bill's, and that's who Beatrix has to speak with to find out where to find Bill. And it's creepy and uncomfortable and sexual, and I thought I don't know, I thought it was a really good job. He was kind of reminding me of Bryan Cranston a little.
I only had one extra note, and that is, where did Bill shoot this lady? Because we see her get shot twice, and it just looks like someone popped a blood packet next to her head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did he shoot her? Because we don't see any scars. Did I miss something in the first film?
No,
Like,
I don't think so.
I'm assuming he shot her in the head. But that hair is so fine and thin. Like, where did he shoot her?
She had 4 years to recover.
I know, but it just, yeah. I mean, I know that that's not the focus. I just think it's funny because in this film, when it opens, you know, the first chapter 6 is like we see him shoot her, and it just is like I don't understand where he shot her.
I mean, the suspension of disbelief doesn't work in every moment of this film. Actually, one scene I don't like is when the moment that Beatrix discovers she's pregnant. She's also been kind of sloppy, and her mark knows that she's in town and has sent somebody to kill Beatrix in her hotel room. And she finagles a way out of that in the standoff with this woman by saying, I'm pregnant. And then, like the woman understands and lets her go and says, congratulations. I thought that scene was corny.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have done without that. I don't know. Because these people are us ass hens.
Yeah, I was a little like, oh, so she's just gonna. So her being a mother is okay.
That's like in John Wick when they're in the hotel. They're in the Intercontinental. It's like, off limits.
I guess, but yeah, I mean, I waited 22 years to watch these.
Yeah, you avoided these for so long. For many, many years, I've asked you to watch these, and you never wanted to. But they're very good.
I'm glad I did. Maybe not in 2025, but maybe in 2026 if there were
still a tour of the back-to-back. You know what I would love to see again? Because I saw Death Proof and Planet Terror in their original theatrical run where you watch them back-to-back, like a Grindhouse experience.
I'd be willing to do that since I don't fully remember those films. I know I watched them.
When I saw that, I took my friend Jenna. I think we were at Jenna, and she didn't. When Planet Terror ended, and I was still seated, she's like, "Okay, why aren't we going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's not done. There's a whole nother movie," and she was so mad.
I would be mad too. I would have left.
But it was like, girl,
you should have told me. How are you going to have me watch 2 movies and not tell me?
See, the thing is, though, back in the day, I didn't invite people to movies. I just let people know I was going, and people would come if they wanted to. So I assumed that you did your research and knew what you were walking into.
Okay, well, that's different.
I was not.
If you just said I'm going to go do this and someone just came along, that is different.
The only time I would round up people like that to help her box office would be a new Sigourney release. So I would get groups of people. The most ever I got to go to one screening was 25.
To what?
Imaginary Heroes at what was that theater? The Landmark in Edina.
Oh my God.
And it was in the winter.
25 people.
Got 25 people to go to that. I had a sizable amount. I think that went to the Village as well. Anyway, yeah. Otherwise, no, I would just tell people what I was doing, and people would, if they were free, usually come along. But poor Jenna got duped.
I was going to say you should try to get a bunch of people to go to Sigourney's next movie, but I don't think Avatar needs any help.
No, that's fine.
Well, what would you give Kill Bill Volume 2?
4.
I would agree. I think these 2 films are a 4 together and separately.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's happening next week?
What's happening?
I'm sure I have to watch something.
Yes, we have a couple screeners for things. New Taron Egerton film, a new Michael Jai White film that looks really. We watched the trailer.
We're watching The Naked Gun next week.
Yeah, that's next.
We're seeing something called The Knife.
Yeah, Kerry Washington's husband directed that, I think.
Why did I agree to watch that?
I don't know, because I think it sounded good.
Oh, and then our review for Together is probably going to drop.
Yep, that's because that's a midweek release. So yeah.
Are you reading anything?
I finished Laughter in the Dark this week by Nabokov, which, if you've read anything by him, it's a dark, devious little tale full of irony and desperation. I loved it. And I found a copy of the Tony Richardson adaptation with Anna Karina, which I'm very excited to watch. I hope I have time to do that this week, because I legit finished that Thursday night. And now I'm reading Washington Square by Henry James. Henry James is a favorite, and I've never read this, but we were commissioned to review The Heiress, Livy de Havilland.
Spoiler, because I don't usually tell
Oh,
people what's coming up on Patreon. But
sorry.
there you go, The Heiress.
Well, that will be coming. Okay.
So another reason to subscribe to our Patreon, you'll get a review of The Heiress.
Well, so I love The Heiress. That was one. Well, I'll talk about that on the Patreon thing. But I have never. That's a loose adaptation of Washington Square, and I felt like, being the great fan of Henry James that I am, it was appropriate that I also have the reading of the novel under my belt as well in discussing this film. And even, I don't know if I'll have time to also, there's a 1997 version of Washington Square with, I know Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it, but yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm reading right now.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Ta-ta.